Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline. I wanted to do an update. It's been about a week since my last video, and I wanted to tell you guys I appreciate your responses on my last video about polyamory and some things in my past. But yeah, it was a subject that took me a long time to admit to myself, and I just wanted to thank you guys for listening and being respectful. But I think it was pretty healthy for me to get it out there. You know, and I think I've had a lot of realizations in the past year or so about myself. You know, a lot of, I guess, walls that I'd put up and block myself out of. I had someone write me on Instagram, and it was a female to male trans man, and he wrote me and asked me, how do I stay positive in my daily with transition and so on and so forth, and about dysphoria and so on and so forth. And he's having a pretty difficult time, and I thought it was interesting, a trans man asking me, but I think we're all kind of in the same boat, especially when it comes to dysphoria. And so I gave him a response, and it was actually it was almost like an answer I already knew, but I never really discussed. And I think a lot of people know that I'm quite proud of being trans, but I also love being trans, and it's actually physically. So I was talking to him about things that you're dysphoric about. For me, was my jaw, like small breasts. There was a few things that I had, and as time went on, I actually learned that the things that I was most dysphoric about have slowly become the things that I like the most. And about myself, I'm still very insecure about having small breasts, and I'm still, I still have dysphoria about my jawline, and there's a lot of things that I have with that. But when you start to embrace the things that you're dysphoric about, when you start to embrace them, and it becomes your strength, it's kind of incredible. But in today's society, we're so surrounded with wanting to look like someone else. And just today, I have a perfect example of like how I did it. And so I'm sure a lot of you know by now, but Victoria's Secret actually hired their very first trans model, and she's of course drop dead beautiful. She looks, very foreign, very thin, and she's gorgeous. But of course, when I saw her, I was like, that bitch, and great face. And so at my work, I've been wanting to get my lips bigger. Because they metabolize, and there's my little bunny rabbit behind me. You can see him. I think you guys love my rabbit, and you want to see him more than you want to see me. He's cute. But anyway, so as far I wanted my lips bigger, and I was like, I'm kind of, because I've had them done bigger, but I've metabolized that out already, and depends on how your metabolism is or how often you work out. And so yeah, I metabolized it out. I can kind of feel it, and so. Yeah, so I wanted to get them bigger, and I was like, oh, I wanted them to look kind of, foreign. And like a foreign Scandinavian girl with huge lips. And so, we were talking about that. I was like her lips, I want those lips. And one of my coworkers reminded me, and I preach this, and I've preached it before, and it was the best advice that I've been given, and I've given to someone else. And it's, you don't want to look like anyone else. You don't want to look like any of these people. You want to look like yourself, and that's the key. You want to look like yourself, but changing certain things to enhance you instead of wanting to look like someone else. And in today's age, we have so many people on Instagram, beautiful pictures and filters, and just beautiful people, and everyone's beautiful in their own way, but they're like a stereotypical uniqueness. And so enhancing yourself is what these people do. They have unique beauty because they're actually accepting themselves. And for trans people, we're so ingrained that we need to change ourselves, and I actually kind of disagree. And for me, I will never get SRS. Even if I was a millionaire, I would never get it. And I just had bukus of money, and I was able to do stuff like that. I wouldn't get that surgery because the post-op depression is actually quite significant. I heard someone else talking about it. Was it Bailey or Blair? Blair, that's on Instagram, on YouTube. She's quite a big transgender advocate and so on and so forth. And she personally doesn't want to get it done because of the depression that comes afterward. It doesn't really solve anything, and I think people invest so much of their they invest their whole transition into the surgery and the surgery and the surgery. Now, this isn't to downgrade anybody else's, because I still have a difficult time understanding non-binary and so on and so forth, and that's difficult for me, but it's just because I've been on such a mission. I wanted to pass in my daily life. I wanted to just blend in. I didn't want things to be about me. And so, as far as that surgery is concerned, there's a lot of people, a large percentage of people that have a lot of post-surgery depression, and I don't have depression about my body anymore. Sorry, my rabbit's shitting, and I feel like there's hair all over my face. I was just holding it a little bit ago. Anyway, so, I don't really get depressed about my body. I work out a lot. I work out about 6 days a week, and I lift weights, and I just started running every day. And I actually never thought I'd be a runner, but I'm actually kind of loving it. It just gets really hot here in the South, and so I really do have to go at like 6 in the morning. Anywho, so I really do love my body, and you have two forms of love. You have when you start to love it because you put work into it, and then you have love where you're just like, I just love it. And I think one of them, self-love is really putting work in. I don't think self-love is just an idea or a concept about just loving yourself. I think you have to put the work in. So, for example, I've only in the past year found women attractive, and the reason being is because when I first started my transition, I want to figure out a reason. Sometimes it could just be fluid, I don't know. But I'd like to think that it's because I was very insecure with my body in the beginning of my transition, and comparing my body to a woman that has small waist, wider hips, bigger breasts, I think it made me too insecure. It kind of held up a mirror, and so it just gave me anxiety. But now I love my body, and I love exactly who I am, and so it gives me the opportunity to open up, to really just be myself, to go with the flow into that life. So, answering this trans man's message, it's actually take the things that you're most dysphoric about and love them. And I love having more muscle, and I actually started enhancing that by lifting weights and working out. I actually don't mind having slightly smaller hips. I think they're kind of in line, but I work out my shoulders to gain, I try to gain that more up here, up top. I'm on a lot of estrogen, so it's just as difficult as any other woman to gain muscle for us. So you learn to love the things that you're most dysphoric about. I actually really like having smaller breasts. And I would like to have them slightly larger, but it's really, if I got an implant, that would be too big. So, and I don't want them that big, So, learning to love yourself and your dysphoria is one of the things that actually makes you pass more. You don't have to go get some surgery to look like someone else. And really, if you're doing anything for anyone else, it's actually very dangerous. I know many people have said that, but I don't think you can say it enough. Like if you're getting surgery for men to accept you, if you're getting surgery to look aesthetically better, it's for vanity reasons, it can actually be dangerous. And I think a lot of trans women want to get that done because aesthetically they can wear a bathing suit and just go about their business, and they don't have to talk, they don't have to do anything like that. But, wear a pair of shorts. You don't have, everyone can do their own thing, but for me, I wear a pair of tight shorts, and it's fine. Anyway, so I want to go a bit into my personal life. I feel like that's the one part of the video everybody likes to listen to. So, one of my clients, who's actually, I thought she was quite vanilla. I do her and her boyfriend's hair, and I thought she was just kind of plain, like they always just post pictures of new recipes that they're making. And she came in, and we were discussing the guy that I was kind of talking to. I'll go into that too in a little bit because that's kind of progressed. But the guy I was talking to with the tattoos, with the open relationship, and I was kind of like, I just really thought I was edgy, and I guess I'm not. And so she told me that, she was like, there's things about me you don't know. And I was like, what? And so anyway, she opens up an Instagram account, and it's like all these pictures of this girl tied up, hanging from the ceiling. And I'm talking like tied up, like, you know, the crazy ropes and things like designs, I guess, and like hanging from one rope from your leg, and it was pretty impressive, to be honest. And I was like, who's this girl? I was like, wow. And then she was like, that's me. I couldn't see her face in the pictures. And I was like, holy shit. And it kind of blew my mind. And I had so many questions because I've always wanted to get into that. I just never knew, and I'm kind of dyslexic, but I just never knew how to tie the knots. And I thought I would always want to be the person tying the knots. And so, yeah, I think, yeah. And there's like a facility here that teaches you. You have to get training and all kind. I was like, what the heck? So I was like, I just think I look edgy. I don't think I'm that edgy. You know, I like to think that I was kind of like, ooh, you know, edgy in my life, but I really think I'm actually kind of boring, and that's kind of freaked me out a little bit. And so anyway, I think it's because I maybe have had a closed mind all my life. I don't know. And so I'm very interested in this, and she's actually coming to a huge cookout I'm doing this weekend on Saturday. So I'm going to talk to her about it. I'll be like, you know, I'm kind of curious. I don't know where to look first. I'm learning how to do things like that. It's, wow. I guess when you hit your mid-30s, you start to get pretty edgy. Anyway, so, you know, and then I wanted to go into the girl that I was talking to. We're still texting, but I don't think it's really going anywhere because she's got a kid. She works 2 jobs. I think she just wanted to have fun, and it's quite obvious that I'm tired of having fun. Everyone I talk to just wants to have fun, and fun to me is being with someone and going to Harry Potter World and going hiking, and I'm going to Thailand next year, and you know, that is fun. It's not all about sleeping with multiple people and just fucking around and trying to find yourself. And so I've already found myself, and so it's very difficult to actually find people who are secure with themselves so they can actually commit to someone else, and it's kind of fascinating. But going into that, I have one of my good friends I've known for about 15 years. We were drinking the other night and we got pretty tipsy, and she told me that she's actually in a position with an open relationship, and this guy that's here has been trying to date her, but he has a girlfriend, and anyway, and so he decided like to offer her to come running with him, and so they went running together. Anyway, things ended up happening. They ended up, you know, messing around. And she was like, oh my God, she's a mother, she's 43, she's got 2 kids, and she was like, oh my God, she just like ran out of there. And we're laughing about it, and she said that she can't stop thinking about it because it was amazing. And so the night before that happened, the guy that works at the bar with tattoos, we were texting all night, and he opened up about some pretty serious stuff. And then I opened up about recent things in my past, and these recent things being, sorry, let me close a couple of things here. There's like all kinds of stuff happening here. Yeah. So, I was opening up about my past, especially with my ex-girlfriend and how badly she hurt me. And I found out she's going down a path that surprises me and really kind of makes me a little sad. But, and we'll just say that she's just such a bad person and just cruel and heartless. And anyway, so we opened up about things. This is nowhere near what he's gone through. He's 50, and this is like the worst situation you can possibly imagine. And I was telling him, I was like, you know, we open up, we talk about a lot of different things, and I just feel like this has to be interfering with your home life, you know, with your girlfriend. I mean, we talk all day from the moment I wake up, and then, like all day long consistently while I work, and then when I go to bed, we share artwork and stuff that we find on Instagram that we find fascinating. And he goes, you know, Jathan, if I'm gonna be honest, he told me, he was like, my girlfriend talks about me as though I'm his other girlfriend. And I was like, excuse me? And of course that freaked me out. And then we continued talking, and he was like, look, I talk to you the first thing in the morning when I get up, and like the first thing at night. And he was like, it's kind of like a relationship that, you know, he was like, we're already kind of in a relationship, we just don't see each other. And that just freaked me out. I was like, oh my God, how presumptuous is that? And then he was asking me if I was weirded out, and I was like, well, not really, but you know, it's nice to be wanted, I guess, by someone you actually like. But anyway, so she was a bad influence when we were drinking, and then she was like, let's go out to his work. And so I surprised him at his work, and he was like a child, and he was so excited. So who knows where that's going, but he told me we have plenty of time to rush, so I think he kind of like backed off slightly, and I think he knows what I'm willing to offer, but you know, and then I'm talking to a girl that's a baker at a high-end restaurant here. She bakes bread and pasta, which are like the two things that, you know, I wouldn't even call it talking. Her and I have just been texting back and forth, and she seems kind of off there doing her thing. I think people just really want sex. I think once they realize you're not like, can I come over, in the first 5 minutes, I think they're like, well, not interested. And it's fascinating to me because I mean, I could walk out my front door and go up to the first guy and be like, look, I'm trans, but I want to fuck, you want to go? And they probably would. You know? And so it's just one of those things that it's not that special to just sleep around with people. It's not special. It's not unique. It's, you know, and I guess a lot of people when they're younger, they have to go through that. And I did a lot when I was younger. And I think I may have just got it out of my system and did my thing. And now I'm looking for that chemistry connection where you lose yourself with the other person, and it's adult passion, I guess. Anyway, so I'm trying to date women, but who knows? I'm throwing a huge cookout here this weekend, and I'm having about 15 people over for drinks, and I'm going to be grilling, and I got like cornhole and stuff like that. There are a lot of my clients and close friends. And so yeah, it should be pretty fun, and I got a couple of girls, and I need to start getting out in the community with these lesbian girls. But I think they find me, I think they're quite curious, because, you know, me being the trans girl, and they all know this, and then I'm feminine looking, I guess. I think they're confused, and I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's new to them as much as it's new to me, but who knows? Anyway, but as far as my needs go when I'm in a relationship, I want to go to Harry Potter World really bad. It's like one of the things I really want to do. And I want to go in the wintertime so I can be like super nerdy and get the, what is it? Like the hood. Because in the summer it's way too hot. But, you know, these are things that I want to do in a relationship, and travel and do hiking, and it just seems like everybody's obsessed with either fucking, shopping, or trying to look like someone on Instagram. I just don't understand like where the fascination is. Like you could do a little bit of both, but I think there's just so much more to this world than all that. And plus my transition is kind of boring to me. And not boring, I love being trans, and it's just one of those things where it's not pulling my attention in as it used to in my 20s when I was like fascinated with it, and I was all into the next thing and the next whatever. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, I guess that's a part of my life, you know. And I don't think everybody else is up to speed. I don't think anybody else is on board with that, because they're still wrapped up in, wow, that's interesting. Being trans is quite fashionable now. And so people are like, oh yeah, I know a trans person, you know. But they don't really, you know, just let them be, you know. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna end this video, and I have to go back to work shortly. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. I'm actually doing really well. It's been a busy week, and I feel like my last video went really well, and everything's well. Yeah, there's my little bunny rabbit. You can see him. I would take him out, but he's a mess, and he's shedding right now, and I'm talking shedding. I have a vacuum cleaner, a handheld vacuum cleaner, like a dirt devil up there, and I literally have to like comb him 3 times a day, and it's like a mound of hair, and I have to vacuum it up. And my dog's shedding. I don't know what's going on all at once. And when rabbits shed, it is incredible amount of hair. I don't understand. It's like, it's madness. Anyway, so that's Clover, and I've had him for about a year. And he's sweet, he's a good friend, but he's bad. He's bad. I had to put a brick in his litter box because he's litter trained. But I had to put a brick in there because he just wanted to start flipping his thing over. And he's never done that for like a year. So I just put a brick in there. I was like, try and flip that over, you little shit. Anyway, so I hope everyone's well. I will update again next week. I'm gonna try and keep doing this every week. And I wish everybody the best, and I will talk to you guys next time. Follow me on Instagram, I'm on there, and thanks again. All right, bye.